Well, last 2 years ago, the state came out and required districts to make a self-evaluation of their community field involvement. And as you're aware, there are actually 9 components to this, but today we're going to focus on just this particular one because there's been some changes on how we go about evaluating what level of accomplishment we've had in this particular area. And again, the 9 that they were requiring each district to evaluate were fine arts, wellness and physical education, community and parent involvement, the 21st Century Workforce Development Program, Second Language Acquisition Program, Digital Learning Environment, Dropout Prevention Strategies, Gifted and Talented Student Program, and Compliance. So today we're going to concentrate on looking at the rating system we're going to use to evaluate ourselves on family and community involvement. To give you a little bit of an overview, as you're aware, the district advisory team serves as a required local committee. And so they're the ones that are going to be looking at how you rated yourself and how that reflects how the district did as a whole. So the campus gets a rating and the district gets a rating based on how each campus evaluated themselves. Now, of course, the Office of Assessment and Accountability will do a parent survey, so that's something they're going to be doing with your students and with your parents specifically to evaluate how they feel you are doing in family and community involvement, and also the other additional 8 components for this evaluation. The campus advisory team, which each campus has, will be looking to help you to evaluate your program or progress in this particular area. And this is something we did last year, we should have done last year, and that's how we got our rating for last year. Now, the campus ratings roll up, like I said earlier, to give us our district rating. So we're actually invested in how you rate yourself. And that's why we went about making some changes to the way that you rate yourself. This is what I'm talking about is in the big change. Before last year, if you remember, you had a rating system. Basically, they asked you 9 questions. And basically, you checked it off and said, yes, you did or you didn't. And that really didn't give you a really big scope of all the things that you're doing on your campus. Because we know, even after visiting with you on your DLTs, there's a lot of family engagement opportunities that you're providing your campus, which never get on that rating scale. And so what we did was basically looked at what ESC2 had put out as sort of a recommendation, how to go about evaluating yourself, and we took that and kind of made it our own. And if you look here, what we have is 3 categories or 3 indicators. The first indicator looks at parent, guardian, and volunteer engagement. The second indicator is participation in special events that promote health and wellness and some other components. It got cut off on this particular screen. And then the third indicator is community partnerships. And what we did then a little further was say, all right, to rate yourself as acceptable in each category, or acceptable, recognized, exemplary in each category, we gave you a target to shoot for. And so we're going to go through each little indicator as follows. In the first indicator, we're giving you several examples, and these are examples. This is not an extensive list. This is just things that we know that are happening all the time on campuses, and we decided to put them on this list to kind of give you an idea what you can easily check off for filling the requirements. To be acceptable, you need at least 10 opportunities, and I want to reiterate the idea of opportunities. We're not looking at hard data. We're looking at basically, did you have this event? Did you have 10 or 20 or 30 parents show up? That's for another indicator, that's something else you want to kind of put to the side. For the purpose of rating yourself, what it's looking for is that did you provide the opportunity for this to happen? And again, these all came from our experiences of working with the campuses and again, visiting with you during your DLTs, that a lot of this is happening anyway. So again, to look at acceptable, you look at 10 opportunities. Do you recognize as 15? To be exemplary is 20. And you're given points for the levels that you reach. For acceptable, it's 1 point. Recognize 3. And for exemplary, 5. And so I'm going to quickly look on to indicator number 2. And when you see in indicator 2, it's the same for acceptable, recognize, exemplary when it comes to point values. But the opportunities are much different. You have 4 opportunities for acceptable, 6 for recognized, and 8 for exemplary. And what you're also going to notice is sometimes what you see in this list is sometimes repeated in another column, another indicator, because it fulfills multiple purposes. And that's perfectly fine. And you go ahead and check them off on both. If you feel like it is not just promoting health and wellness or providing an opportunity for parents to learn something about your campus, then, or is it to volunteer. Maybe it's an event that's having to do with run walk and parents are volunteering. So there's a volunteer opportunity as well as promoting health and wellness. So you would put it in both categories and check it off. If something's on this list that you say, well, you know, we do something that it kind of falls into this category, this indicator, then by all means add it to the bottom. Okay? And again, it's 4, 6, and 8. The last indicator is partnerships. And many of y'all are having several partnerships with community organizations around your school. And so, again, by all means, add them to this list if they're not on here already. Or again, if they're here, go ahead and check them off. Acceptable, recognized, exemplary points are the same, but the opportunities are a little bit different. There's 1 to 3 for acceptable, 4 to 6 for recognized, and 7 to 10 for exemplary. And again, we're seeing that this is an easier way of tracking how you're doing in this area. Now, the overall score works this way. If you look across the tops and you say, all right, I have 5 points, well, then that's going to be acceptable rating. 7 to 11 points to be recognized. 13 to 15 points to be exemplary. And the way you need to look at it is that, well, do I need to be exemplary in each category to be considered exemplary? Not at all. If you are in any 2 categories at the same level, for example, if you are an indicator 1, recognized, you didn't get 20 opportunities, but you got 15, and you are exemplary in indicator 2 and exemplary in indicator 3, well, if you add those points together, I think it comes out to be 13, then you would be exemplary. And so, if you can get 2 out of 3 in any particular category, any particular level, then that's the rating you're going to have. The only exception to that rule is if you were acceptable in 1, recognized in the other, exemplary in the third, you would end up being exemplary based on the point score. So it kind of gives you an idea. Well, because I know a lot of people are going to say 20 seems like a lot, but even like I said, being through some of these DLT meetings, people are saying, well, we're doing all these things, and you're probably close to 10, 15, opportunities already, and it's not even halfway through the first semester. Here's an exception, though. Here's something that you need to be aware of. It might be a little change the way that you rate yourself. And I'll read it to you in the bottom here. It says, exemplary rating in a program area requires 90% or higher positive survey response from students and parents. So the survey that the Office of Accountability is putting out, if parents don't rate you at 90% or higher in family community involvement, you can't rate yourself exemplary. And that just kind of makes sense. You may see we're doing all these things, but if they don't know that they're happening and they're not being engaged by them, then you can see why they're going to tell you you can't rate yourself exemplary. So that's a little caveat to the whole process. But this, again, is a tool we believe will help you easily rate, be able to identify where you're at and where you need to be and the area of family and student engagement. So that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always give me a call, and we'll be glad to help you out. We do have district facilitators who, again, will help you achieve these measures, and they know clearly how this is done, and they'll be glad to help you out. So, again, if you have any questions or concerns, give me a call, and we're glad to make it happen for you.